Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Spoilers and Theories video for NCIS Season 11, Episode 2, Past, Present, and Future. Oh, good lord. For an episode that no one really seems to want spoilers for, my god did we get a lot of spoilers. Not only do we have material from the Season 11 promos, but also from Mark Harmon's interview with Arsenio, the footage from The Insider, 2 promos for the individual episodes, a slew of promotional pictures, as well as interviews and tweets, all regarding spoilers about this episode. CBS wants you to know that you cannot run. This episode happened and it's coming. Normally I consider the title warning enough, but there's so much material to cover in this that if you're unsure if you want spoilers or not, you should probably X out of this video and come back after the episode is aired so you can see how sane I was before this episode happened. We have a whole lot of material to cover, so sit down, strap in, and let's begin. This is the official press release for Past, Present, and Future. Everyone and their mother is on this cast list. It is ridiculous. We have Orly, Adam, young Ziva, young Eli, every other agent ever. And then Gabby Cosio tweeted, is that how you say her name? If any of you know Gabby Cosio, or you are Gabby Cosio, please tell me if I'm pronouncing the last name right. She said that the actual flashbacks would be in this episode, so that's intriguing. Promos. Due to the fact that there's so many different things, I'm just going by scene. And since I don't know how far ahead the Season 11 clips go, like I don't know if they go from the first 2 episodes or if they're the first 4 episodes. I'm only going to be talking about what I know is in this episode. Let's start with the olive orange Garden Grove scene. This seems to be what CBS is trying to advertise as the scene because it's what they've been putting out the most since day 1. Basically, it's Tony and Ziva, and they're grabbing each other's face and staring into each other's eyes, and their faces just keep facing, otherwise known as almost kissing. And then Tony's like, I'm fighting for you, Ziva. Ziva's like, I know. He's like, I want you to come home. And Ziva's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And then he grabs her hand and starts like kissing her fingers, which is good. Keep going with that. Oh, and then how could I forget? Don't worry, Tony, we'll be okay. And CBS actually just released another picture today that has that quote on it, but we'll get to that later. And then also in that same scene, Ziva is burying something. Looks like a box. I don't know what's in the box. Do you know what's in the box? I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm sure enough that I'm going to talk about it. Gibbs tells Tony not to be dumb, and I'm assuming he's referring to Ziva, and that's when he's going to be like, go find her. Because if it's not about Ziva, why else would he be like, it's just your casual, don't be dumb today reminder. I probably need one of those. We get Abby asking Gibbs where Ziva is, and then we get a scene at the airport, and it's Tony and Ziva, and Ziva's like, you were so, and then Tony's like, what? And Ziva's like, and then their faces just get like closer and closer, closer until their faces are just like literally facing. They've kissed. Their mouths are on each other. It's happened. Surprise! That I was not expecting, certainly. I'm a little miffed that it was in the promos, but on the other hand, I'm curious if the kiss was just casual enough to put in the promo. I'm wondering what else is in here that's so big they couldn't possibly include it in the promos. We also get a clip of Tony on a plane and he's holding the Star of David necklace, and there are several different theories about that, and I will again touch on that later. We get a clip of Ziva on a couch staring out a window. Exciting, dramatic. Ooh. And that's about it for as far as clips go. Promotional pictures. Tony is on a plane or stepping off of a plane. Those were like the original 2 promotional pictures. They weren't very telling. And then there is a promotional picture of Ziva on the same couch, except this time Tony's behind her, like he just appeared from behind the couch. Did we get the dramatic shot for the promo yet? Can I come out? Anyone? Yes, good, okay, thank God. It was getting kind of stuffy down there. And then we also got another promo picture today from CBS, and it's of Ziva on a plane. Way to spark up confusion, CBS. They know how to screw with the crowd. And then they did manage to squeeze in a very, very tiny interview in the TV guide. A lot of interviews up to this point have been very similar, just that the ending was very emotional, etc., etc. This is the first one that really hints that Cody/Ziva might come back someday. Making her sound like Frosty the Snowman. It's like, kids, close your eyes. If you believe hard enough, Cody might come back someday. And then I think right before I filmed this, someone posted people on the Entertainment Tonight show talking about how Cody might come back and how it's very possible. So, I don't know, that's very nice. It's hopeful, and I like that, because they're not killing her off, as they've said 25 times. Also, we get another promotional picture in here, and it's Tony, like, with his arm around Ziva's waist. Michael's foot is still in that weird position. Like, is this just how they did it in blocking? Is that, like, an artistic decision? People were also theorizing that maybe she was wearing Tony's clothes in this picture, but unless Tony owns a woman's lilac sweater, it's his special sweatshirt. Just let him have it. Here it's looking more blue. Baby blue's okay, but lilac, just, that crossed the line. Tony will lie to someone close to him about Ziva. And then there was one other cheat tweet that I completely forget, so it can't be that important. Theories. Theory time. This is really the end of an era in NCIS. This season would have been Ziva's 9th season. Like, where were you 9 years ago? 9 years ago, my best friend had just moved away, and so I didn't really have any, like, close friends or any best friends, so I just kind of spent the year, like, experimenting with a bunch of different friends. 2 of the friends I ended up keeping, and those 2 would go on to be the ones that, in the future, introduced me to NCIS. So, it's funny how things work out like that. I just thought that was interesting. So many people have had so many theories because we've gotten a slew of spoilers, but no answers. It's like we've gotten a bunch of plot points, but we have had nothing to tie them together with. I think I heard or read somewhere that Tony doesn't find Ziva till towards the end. I don't know if that's true, or I don't know if I'm just imagining things, but I did have a dream that he didn't find her till 8:35. So, if he doesn't find her till 8:35, it's official, guys, I'm a sidekick. I'm curious to see how all this is balanced out. Like, when is Tony meeting Orly? When is Tony meeting Adam? Like, how are they helping him? Hopefully, I'm thinking that they'll assist him in finding her in Israel or something. Like, they know something that he doesn't, they'll have to, like, guide him, give him some brotherly love. I'm curious to see how they're splitting the episode, because also they do have this terrorist subplot. I'm praying that they will give Ziva adequate screen time. If they don't, I'm just... There are no words for how absolutely horrified and unamused I will be. Speaking of horrified, the kiss! I don't know if you guys saw my Whiskey Tango Foxtrot review, but the sheer look of terror is present on my face when I saw them kiss, because I was just expecting everything except that. It's like in a horror movie when, like, the monster just pops up out of nowhere and you're like... Those two situations are very similar. Monsters popping up, your favorite couple kissing after 8 years. They'll both make you pee your pants. I have no idea what's going to be in this episode. I can't even imagine. I'm curious to see how the team will react. Very curious, actually. I'm hoping they'll have some kind of emotion, and I really, really, really hope they find out that something's going on between Tony and Ziva, that there's some kind of feelings, and I'm hoping that the lie will not be about his feelings for Ziva when they say that Tony will lie to someone close to him. I'm hoping that that's not what it's about, because I want him to be very open with it, because I believe that they will let Ziva's storyline stick around. Like, they won't just forget her, that they'll let everyone cope, especially Tony. Because if they don't, that's going to be very upsetting. Plane scene. People were saying that possibly this is at the end, after he's left, and then he's staring at her Star of David necklace. I do want her to leave him the Star of David necklace. That's just something I really hope happens. But I think that the scene might be towards the beginning, because in the end, when they're at the airport, he's not wearing a suit jacket, but on the plane, he's wearing a suit jacket. So, also, Ziva on the plane. It's like snakes on a plane, but not. Why is she there? Some people were saying that maybe it's like a dream sequence, which I would not mind. Like, what happened if she had gone to the airport with him? I'm just so confused, and I'm a little irritated that CPS put that out there, because they did a good job of, like, sparking interest, but I mean, interest was already there. Now it's just additional, unnecessary, irritating confusion. I got nothing, to be quite honest. Maybe she is on a plane with him to one of his stops, and then she'll go back to Israel while he goes to the US, which makes no sense, because that is extremely unsafe. It's so confusing, because I can't think of anything else it would be. If they show a kiss in the promo, I'm crossing my fingers that there's some pretty darn good other material in here. Like, that better not be their one and only kiss. Especially if they're so close to kissing in that Olive Garden Grove forest center. Like, how could they just go out of that without kissing? Watch. They'll find a way. Something will ring or crash into them. As their cell phones are ringing, all the trees will collapse in on them, and they'll fall down that hole she dug. That's probably why she dug it. They need an escape plan. The more than kissing leads me to a different topic. So if you're under the age of 13, just grab like an older sibling or something. So, you ready? This episode is rated TV-14 for language and violence. And some people were upset because they thought that there was no chance that we could get a love scene without an S or a D rating. S is sexual situations and D is suggestive dialogue. I am here to tell you that is not always the case. I was watching Pretty Little Liars the other day, and there is an episode where two of the characters do the deed, and it only has a TV-14 rating for language. So a sex scene is still, I'm sorry, I said sex. I hate the term love scene. I hate it. When I think love scene, I think like white sheets and like rose petals and like an ocean and doves flying in through the open window. I don't think of two characters banging the daylights out of each other on the leather couch. That's a sex scene. That's not a love scene. I'm sorry. I personally don't think there will be a love scene. Just because I'm not getting that vibe, but I'm not saying there won't be one. I'm just saying I personally don't have that theory. But those of you who are dead set on this love scene, those of you who are like dead set on this love scene, don't take it off the table just purely based off of rating. I'm very curious to see how they include the title into the episode, like past, present, future. We know her present, and we're getting her past in flashbacks, but what are they doing with future? In a perfect episode, I would be hoping for like a montage situation, but realistically, I'm just hoping they'll discuss the future, Tony and Ziva, or Tony and the team, or some discussion of the future will be brought up, because it's in the episode title, so I'm hoping future will be a thing. As for flashbacks, I just want to see Ziva as a child, roaming. I hope what I'm about to say makes sense. We know so many things, but we don't know enough to form a proper theory. Also, people want Tony and Ziva to discuss Paris. I don't even think Tony and Ziva know what happened in Paris anymore, to be quite honest. So, I mean, there's like a wish list of things I would wish they would do. I don't know how many of them are actually happening. I'm not fond of the marketing for this episode because they're promoting it as more of a Tiva thing than as a Ziva thing. Please don't think I'm supporting the argument that says they're turning Ziva into purely a love interest for Tony, because that's not what I'm doing at all. Somewhere along the line of the show, a misconception occurred that there are Tony fans and there are Tiva fans, but there are not strictly Ziva fans. That is completely untrue. That is a false statement. However, I think that's the mindset that CBS is on right now, because they're including so much Tiva, and that's why a lot of people are getting angry. I think the promo makers are like, they're here for the Tiva, so let's just put all the Tiva, and that's the only way they'll come. Let me put this in perspective. Ziva is the main salad, and Tiva is the side dressing. Granted, it's a pretty hefty helping of side dressing, but it's a side dressing nonetheless. What I'm trying to say is, we are here for Ziva. Tiva is nice, Tiva is wonderful, I love Tiva, but we are here for Ziva. And this is Ziva's episode, so if you show us Ziva, we will be there. We'll still show up to the party. Tiva is not the only reason why we're here. So include Tiva, that's awesome, that's nice. But if you give us Ziva, we're still gonna be there. That's why we're here. So give us Ziva and let everything else be the surprises along the way. Let everything else happen around Ziva. So that's my whole spiel on that. I'm not ready for this episode. There's going to be Kate episodes, and then there's going to be Ziva episodes, and then there's going to be Bishop episodes. And that's startling to think about. And I don't want to stop talking because I don't want this spoilers and theories video to end, because it's going to be my last spoilers and theories video where I can talk about the Ziva storyline. If I could give one sentiment of advice from one person who has not seen this episode to another, is don't get your hopes up too high and accept the episode for what it is. If I could have 3 general wishes for this episode, it would be to get some form of temporary closure. See Tony and Ziva discuss their feelings for each other, and for Ziva, be Ziva. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I can't picture a resolve. You know what? 4 wishes. I want to be content with how this episode ends, because that's the last we're going to be seeing of her for a while. And I know complete closure is not possible, but I just want something satisfying. I know the episode won't be perfect, and I know that what they're working with is not a lot. I mean, I'm not aiming for spectacular or anything, I just want something. I just want everything to be good. I want to remember Ziva's last episode as a good one. It can never be over in just one episode. There's way too much, especially when that one episode feels like 10 minutes. I want it to be about Ziva. Everything else is that side dressing. Those are my words of wisdom. I will see you guys for the recap and review. Past, present, and future. Bye. Thinking of, a soundtrack. They have to have a soundtrack for this episode. Kill me now. Oh god. I'm not ready. Breathe. Come on. I love you all. We can do this. We can do this. We need a motivational speaker to get through this episode. Alright. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm not ready. I'll be saying that 90 years from now, still wasn't ready for past, present, or future. Oh, goodness gracious.